So, friends, Donald Trump is firing, purging the very people, the prosecutors, who tried to hold criminals accountable, who tried to uphold the rule of law, and who tried to protect and preserve American democracy. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, Donald Trump is on a corrupt rampage. He's on his revenge tour, going after the people who tried to hold him accountable for his crimes and going after the people who held accountable, the folks who attacked the U.S. Capitol to try to stop the transfer of presidential power, the J6 defendants. But friends, just watch the wrongful termination lawsuits roll in like a tidal wave. Let's start with the new reporting. This from NBC News. Headline: Trump administration fires DOJ officials who worked on criminal investigations of the president. And that article begins: the Department of Justice said Monday that it had fired several career lawyers involved in prosecuting Donald Trump. The DOJ employees worked on special counsel Jack Smith's investigation that led to now dismissed indictments against Trump over his handling of classified documents and his efforts to overturn his 2020 election loss in the lead up to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. This quote from a Trump DOJ official, quote, "Today, Acting Attorney General James McHenry terminated the employment of a number of DOJ officials who played a significant role in prosecuting President Trump," a Justice Department official told NBC News. In light of their actions, the Acting Attorney General does not trust these officials to assist in faithfully implementing the president's agenda. This action is consistent with the mission of ending the weaponization of government, close quote. You know, friends, can I add here that I took the exact same oath of office as those prosecutors who were just wrongfully terminated? And the oath we take is not to support the agenda of a president. The oath we take is to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that is precisely what these wrongfully terminated prosecutors did. My editorial edition. The article continues. Among those let go, an official familiar with the matter told NBC News, were career prosecutors Molly Gaston, J.P. Cooney, Ann McNamara, and Mary Dorman. Quote, "Firing prosecutors because of cases they were assigned to work on is just unacceptable," said former U.S. Attorney Joyce Vance, an NBC News legal contributor. "It's anti-rule of law. It's anti-democracy." Former DOJ lawyer Julie Zebrak, an expert in federal employment law, said career civil servants cannot be summarily fired. Quote, "They have civil service rights. They have due process rights," she said. If the Justice Department is arguing that these lawyers are not performing properly, they must be subject to what's known as progressive discipline, she said, including warnings and notice. They must be allowed to hire lawyers before they lose their jobs. Quote, "There is a reason people say it's so hard to fire federal employees," she said. Now, friends, let's move down the street 3 or 4 blocks from Main Justice, the United States Department of Justice, to the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia. That is the DOJ field office that prosecutes all the criminal cases in Washington, D.C. And let's have a look at somebody who Trump has installed as his interim United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, somebody who never prosecuted so much as a parking ticket. Not a minute of prosecutorial experience, but he is an election denier, and he is a Stop the Steal supporter. This from the Wall Street Journal. Trump-appointed prosecutor opens review of Justice Department's January 6 cases. And that article begins, a top Trump-appointed prosecutor has opened an internal review of the Justice Department's decision to charge hundreds of January 6 defendants with felony obstruction offenses in connection with the Capitol attack, according to people familiar with the matter. Acting U.S. Attorney Ed Martin in Washington, D.C., asked prosecutors in the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office in an email Monday to turn over files, documents, notes, emails, and other information related to the cases, the J6 prosecutions, the people said, which included charges against some of the most violent rioters at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Within the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office, some prosecutors viewed Martin's inquiry as an opening salvo in the Trump administration's stated aim of investigating the January 6th investigators, not to mention prosecuting the January 6th prosecutors, the people familiar with the matter said. And of course, Trump pardoned virtually all of the January 6th defendants last week. Or put another way, Donald Trump opened the prisons and let the criminals back onto the streets of our country, some of whom are already in trouble with the law again. So who is this guy, Ed Martin, the new top prosecutor, the acting United States Attorney for the District of Columbia? Well, here's a headline from PBS. D.C.'s new top prosecutor advocated for January 6th rioters and echoed Trump's false 2020 election claims. Or you can just dial up videos of Ed Martin yelling, "Stop the steal," and posting things like this about what was going on out there on January 6th. Like Mardi Gras in D.C. today, love, faith, and joy. Ignore #fake news. My goodness, friends, how I fear for the public safety of the people of D.C. having a guy like that in charge, even if only temporarily. So friends, let's go back for a minute and let's finish up with this. Let's go back to the wrongful revenge firings of Special Counsel Jack Smith's federal prosecutors, because that kind of retribution is anti-democratic, unpatriotic, rule of law busting bullshit. And it can't be allowed to stand. And here comes the point of light, friends. I don't think it will stand. I think there will be wrongful termination lawsuits filed. I think those lawsuits will very likely be successful. And I know that is probably little comfort or consolation for the people who will now have to go through that just because they decided to uphold their oath to support and defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. But I do think in the end, the people who have been wrongfully terminated by Donald Trump will be vindicated. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.